The planet Valtoria was known across many star systems for one reason, the strength of its warrior clans. Every generation, a new alpha female rose to power, and she was always the strongest, the smartest, and the most feared among them. This time, the alpha was Karin, a tall and powerful warrior with silver eyes and markings that glowed whenever she felt danger, but Karin was different from the alphas of the past. She chose no mate, she accepted no warrior, she rejected every single one of them. Every season, warriors from different clans arrived in long shining ships. They came with gifts, trophies, and armor plates carved with their victories. Some had defeated giant beasts, some had survived wars. They expected Karin to look at them with pride, maybe interest, but she looked at them like they were nothing. She dismissed all of them with a single cold glance. The elders whispered that this was dangerous. If Karin never chose a partner, the future leader of Valtoria would never be born. Without a future leader, the clans might fight each other, the peaceful balance of the planet would break. But Karin refused to listen. She said something inside her felt wrong. She said none of the warriors were worthy. She said her instincts were waiting for something else, something not found on her planet. Many people thought she was lying, others said she was too proud, but the truth was stranger. Sometimes, late at night, when she walked alone through the palace, she felt a strange scent in the air. It was soft, warm, nothing like the sharp metallic scent of Valtorian warriors. This scent made her heart beat faster. It made her feel something she could not explain. She tried to find where it came from, but it always faded before she reached the place. Some nights she woke up suddenly, her markings glowing bright blue. She felt the scent again in her dreams. She saw shadows of someone standing in a dark hallway. She saw a silhouette she did not recognize. She reached out to touch the shadow in her dream, but every time she got close, it disappeared. She kept this secret from the council. She did not want them to think she was weak or confused. The tension in the palace grew. Every clan talked about Karin's strange behavior. Some warriors became angry and insulted. They believed she rejected them because she thought they were weak. Some warriors trained harder and returned again, only to be rejected once more. Even the strongest champions failed to impress her. They fought beasts, moved mountains, broke weapons with their bare hands, but nothing reached Karin's heart. One day, the council demanded a meeting. The elder council leader spoke with a heavy voice. He reminded Karin that she carried the future of their race. He told her it was her duty to choose someone, but Karin stood tall and calm. She said she could not choose a mate she felt nothing for. She said that choosing without instinct was the same as betraying her own nature. The council had no answer for that. They only left the room with worried faces. The palace guards noticed Karin had changed. She looked distracted at times. Her eyes went to the shadows often, as if expecting something to appear. She walked the halls more frequently, always following the same unknown scent. Her steps were faster, her breathing deeper. The guards wondered what she was searching for, but no one dared to ask. Rumors spread like fire. Some said she had lost her mind, others whispered that she was waiting for a mate from another star. One story said she had seen a vision of a creature not born on Valtoria. The younger warriors laughed at this, but the elders remained silent. The elders knew that sometimes the instincts of an alpha were connected to ancient forces they did not understand. One night, Karin stood alone on the balcony of her palace. The twin moons of Valtoria shone on her armor. She looked at the sky, feeling the strange pull in her chest stronger than ever. She whispered to herself that something was coming, something that did not belong to her world, and for the first time, she felt fear, not of danger, but of the unknown future waiting for her. The next morning, Karin rejected 3 more warriors, stronger than the last ones. Their pride broke, and they left angrily, but Karin did not even look at them twice. Her mind was somewhere else. She walked through the halls again, chasing the fading scent. She touched the stone walls, thinking the scent might be hidden in the cracks. She checked every corner, every room, until she reached one small corridor she had never noticed before. The scent was stronger here, warmer, almost comforting. Her markings glowed softly. Her heart pounded as she stepped forward. For a second, she thought she heard footsteps. She felt a presence nearby, but when she reached the end of the corridor, it was empty. She stood there, breathing heavily, shocked and confused. Karin did not know the truth yet. The one she was searching for, the one her instincts had chosen, had already arrived on her planet. He was walking the palace halls every day, unnoticed, unimportant, dressed in simple clothes, cleaning the floors because that was his job. A human janitor. And he had no idea that the most powerful female on the planet was being pulled toward him by ancient instincts she could not control. The human supply ship entered Valtorian space quietly, almost unnoticed. The ship was old, slow, and damaged from a small meteor storm. Most Valtorians did not care about such small visitors. Humans were viewed as simple creatures, soft, less powerful, useful only for trade or labor. No one imagined that this small ship carried someone who would change their planet forever. Ethan Hale was not a soldier, not a scientist, not even a pilot. He was a janitor. He cleaned floors, fixed small things, and tried to avoid trouble. He never expected to step foot on an alien planet, but the ship's engines were failing, and the crew requested emergency landing permission. Ethan followed them quietly as they were escorted into the palace service area. He was given a small room and told to help the cleaning team until repairs were ready. Ethan did not complain. He had always lived a simple life. He liked quiet jobs where no one shouted at him. He liked working alone. He picked up a mop and bucket and started cleaning long empty corridors. He did not know the palace belonged to the Alpha Female. He did not know about the tension, the council, or the warriors fighting to win her. He was just doing his job, humming softly while he worked. But every time Ethan walked into a hallway, something strange happened far away in the palace. Karin would suddenly stop whatever she was doing. Her markings would glow and she would feel her heart racing. She sensed the warm scent again, stronger than ever. She could no longer ignore it. She followed it down winding corridors, past guards who watched her nervously. She moved with purpose, almost like a hunter chasing prey she could not see. The guards exchanged worried looks as she passed. They whispered among themselves, wondering why the Alpha was suddenly moving like she had found an enemy hidden in the palace. Some followed her at a distance, afraid something terrible had entered their home. But Karin did not explain her behavior. She could not explain it. She only knew that something inside her was calling her forward with a force she could not resist. Meanwhile, Ethan reached a quiet corridor near the lower palace. He dipped the mop in soapy water and started swiping the floor. The lights flickered slightly, and he sighed, thinking this place probably needed maintenance. He never noticed the faint glow behind him at first. He never noticed the guards in the distance staring with confused faces. He just kept cleaning. Karin turned a corner and froze. She stood still like a statue, her breath caught in her throat. Her markings glowed brighter than ever before. The scent was here, it filled the air, it wrapped around her senses and made everything else fade away. Her instincts screamed that the source was just ahead, just a few steps around that corner. She stepped forward slowly, every movement careful, every muscle tight. She expected a powerful hidden warrior, maybe a strange creature, maybe someone from another star system strong enough to match her. She prepared herself for battle, for challenge, for anything dangerous. But when she reached the end of the hall, she stopped again. Her eyes narrowed, her heart beat like thunder in her chest, because what she saw made no sense. She saw a human, small, thin compared to a Valtorian, wearing simple clothes and holding a mop. The human was humming softly, completely unaware of her presence, completely unaware he had been pulling her across the palace with his scent alone. Ethan felt something behind him and turned his head. He expected another alien asking for help. Instead, he saw Karin, taller than any human he had ever known, her silver eyes fixed on him like he was the only thing in the world. He dropped the mop in shock. The bucket fell over, water splashing across the floor. Ethan's heart almost stopped. He was sure he had done something wrong. He was sure she would be angry. But Karin did not speak, she did not move, she simply stared. Her instincts shouted inside her head, telling her this was the one, this human, this simple janitor, was the one her instincts had been waiting for. The feeling confused her, scared her, made her angry at her own body for reacting this way. She tried to reject it, but the scent wrapped around her again, impossible to ignore. Guards rushed toward her, thinking she was under attack, but when they saw her frozen in place, staring at the human, they stopped. Their eyes widened. They understood nothing. Why would their Alpha be focused on a creature so weak, so small, so powerless? Ethan took a step back, his voice shaking as he said he was only cleaning, that he would leave if he was not allowed here. His fear and honesty reached her in a strange way. Her chest tightened, her instincts softened. She stepped closer, slowly, carefully, like approaching something fragile. The guards whispered among themselves, worried and confused, and hidden deeper in the palace. The council watched through their screens, their hearts filled with fear and disbelief, because if the Alpha had chosen this human, if her instincts accepted him, the future of Valtoria was about to change in a way none of them could control. Ethan swallowed hard as Karin stepped closer. He had no idea who she was, he had no idea why she looked at him like that, and he had no idea his quiet life was ending forever. The Alpha had finally found the one she could not reject, a human janitor who would soon face dangers he never imagined, and in the shadows, the first seeds of conflict began to grow. For a long moment, neither Karin nor Ethan moved. The palace hallway felt frozen in time, even the air seemed to stop flowing. Karin's glowing markings flickered like they were fighting against her emotions. She had faced giant beasts, deadly warriors, and storms that destroyed mountains, but this moment frightened her more than any battle. Her instincts had chosen, and they had chosen him. Ethan stood stiff like a statue. He had seen many strange things since arriving in space, but nothing prepared him for a towering alien staring at him like he carried the secrets of the universe. His throat felt dry, his hands shook a little. He whispered that he was sorry for spilling water. He apologized again, thinking he would be punished. But Karin took another step forward. Her eyes stayed locked on him. She did not understand why her heart beat so fast, why her instincts pulled her closer to him. Her body reacted in a way she had no control over, not even as an alpha. Her voice refused to come out, and when she finally spoke, it was soft, almost unsure. She told him not to fear her. Her voice echoed gently through the hall, confusing the guards even more. Ethan blinked in surprise. Most aliens he met were cold or serious, none ever spoke kindly to him. He nodded slowly, trying to calm himself, but he still did not understand why she looked at him with such intensity. He asked if she needed something cleaned or if he was standing in the wrong place. He tried to keep his voice steady, but it trembled anyway. Karin felt a strange warmth in her chest when he spoke. His voice was calm, gentle, different from the loud and aggressive tones of Valtorian warriors. She felt something she had never felt before, a strange mix of peace and curiosity. She wanted to know him, understand him, learn why her instincts claimed he was important. The guards finally gathered enough courage to step closer. They bowed their heads and asked if they should remove the human. Karin's reaction shocked everyone. She turned sharply, her eyes fierce, and ordered them not to touch him. Her voice carried the weight of an entire planet. The guards froze and bowed again, terrified of angering her. Ethan stepped back in confusion. He did not know who she was, but he understood one thing now. She was dangerous, powerful, and everyone feared her, and yet, she protected him. He felt even more nervous because it made no sense. More guards appeared at the far end of the hallway, whispering and pointing. Some had fear in their eyes, others watched with disbelief. They had trained their whole lives to serve Karin. They had seen her reject warriors stronger than starship soldiers, and now she was standing protectively in front of a human holding a mop. The news spread fast. Servants whispered, guards murmured, warriors trained in the yard stopped to listen. Everyone wanted to know why the Alpha was focused on this simple creature. The council elders watched from hidden screens, their faces dark with concern. They feared what this could mean for the future of their species. Their power depended on tradition, and this moment shattered tradition completely. Karin ignored everyone. She took another step toward Ethan. He stood with his back against the wall now, too afraid to move. She lowered herself slightly, bringing her face closer to his level. Her eyes softened. She asked his name. Ethan answered in a small voice. She repeated his name slowly, like she was memorizing it, like the sound meant something deep inside her. Her instincts whispered louder, telling her this human was hers, telling her he was the one she could protect, the one she could trust, the one her instincts accepted completely. She shook her head slightly, trying to understand how this was possible. No warrior had moved her heart, no champion had broken her cold shield, yet this human, this quiet janitor, unlocked something inside her that she did not know existed. Ethan swallowed and finally asked who she was. Karin straightened her back. Her full height rose above him like a towering shadow. She told him her name. Ethan realized she was the Alpha Female, the ruler of Valtoria. His face turned pale. He understood instantly why everyone feared her. He wanted to run, but his legs would not obey him. Karin watched his fear and felt a deep ache inside her. She did not want him to fear her. She wanted him near. She wanted to understand why the universe had pushed him into her world. She reached her hand out slowly. Ethan stared at it, unsure if he should take it. He hesitated, but her eyes were not threatening. They were strangely calm, almost gentle. Before he could react, a deep alarm echoed through the palace. warriors rushed forward with weapons. A powerful warrior named Rax appeared. He was one of the strongest challengers who Karin had rejected many times. His eyes burned with jealousy and hate when he saw Ethan. Rax shouted that the human should be removed immediately, that Karin was making a mistake, that he, Rax, was the true worthy mate. Karin's eyes darkened, her markings glowed sharply. She stepped in front of Ethan, blocking him from Rax. Rax felt a chill in his chest. He realized instantly that something had changed forever. The Alpha was protecting the human, not him, not anyone else. The hallway filled with tension so thick it felt like the air was turning to stone. Ethan did not know what was happening, but he understood one thing clearly: the moment Karin chose to stand in front of him, his life stopped being normal. The Alpha had chosen him, even if she did not say it out loud yet, and the warriors of Valtoria would soon decide if they accepted that, or if they would fight against it. The alarm faded slowly, but the tension in the hallway only grew heavier. Rax stepped forward, his armor glowing with challenge marks. His eyes stayed locked on Ethan like he was looking at an insect that needed to be crushed. Ethan felt the weight of that stare. He had never seen so much hate directed at him for simply existing. Karin stood firm in front of him, her body a shield that no warrior dared to cross. Rax raised his voice, saying the Alpha was being tricked, that a weak human could never be worthy. His words spread quickly as more warriors gathered in the corridor. Their armor clinked, their faces filled with confusion and anger. They had competed, trained, bled for the Alpha's attention, and now she stood protecting a janitor who carried a mop. The idea burned their pride like fire. But Karin did not flinch. She spoke slowly, her voice deep and sharp. She said no one was allowed to touch Ethan, not now, not ever without her permission. Her words echoed through the halls. The warriors grew silent, shocked by her tone. Even the guards stepped back. They knew her voice carried final judgment, a command that could end lives if disobeyed. Ethan felt his breath shake. He whispered that he didn't understand any of this. He said he didn't want trouble. He only wanted to fix the floors and return home when the ship was repaired. Karin heard his fear, and it tightened something inside her. She turned slightly, telling him he had nothing to fear as long as she lived. Her voice softened in a way no warrior had ever heard before. Rax's patience snapped. He slammed his staff on the ground, sparks bursting out. He demanded a formal challenge. He said the human should prove himself or be removed. Many warriors supported him, shouting and pounding their weapons against the floor. The noise rose like thunder through the palace. Ethan covered his ears, terrified. Karin stepped forward, her eyes sharp enough to cut stone. She told Rax that Ethan was under her protection, and no challenge would be accepted. Rax's jaw tightened. He said the Alpha had never protected anyone before. He said something was wrong with her instincts. He said the council would hear about this weakness. The crowd gasped at his words. No warrior spoke to the Alpha like that and lived peacefully afterward. Karin's markings burned bright blue. She took one slow step toward Rax. The temperature in the air changed. Warriors could feel the pressure rising, the way the ground hummed softly under her anger. Ethan felt the danger and whispered for her to stop. He didn't want anyone hurt because of him, but Karin couldn't stop now. She had spent her whole life rejecting warriors, resisting tradition, trusting only her instincts, and now those instincts pointed toward the human behind her. She would not allow anyone to threaten him. Rax realized he had pushed too far and stepped back, but retreat did not erase the hatred building inside him. He planned something dark behind his eyes. His pride was ruined, his soul insulted. He wanted Ethan gone, no matter the cost, and he was not the only one who felt this way. The corridor cleared slowly after Karin dismissed everyone. Guards escorted Ethan back to the service quarters, but Karin followed close behind. She did not trust anyone else with his safety. Ethan walked nervously, feeling eyes watching him from every shadow. Warriors whispered behind walls. Some glared as he passed, others avoided his gaze, afraid of the Alpha's growing attachment. Inside the service room, Ethan sat on the metal cot. He rubbed his face, trying to understand what was happening. He asked Karin why this was happening to him. He asked if he was in danger. Karin sat on the floor rather than the chair, lowering herself to show she meant no harm. She told him the truth she barely understood herself. She explained that every Alpha followed their instincts, instincts older than their planet, instincts that had never been wrong, and those instincts responded to him, not any Valtorian warrior. Ethan didn't know what to say. His heart pounded. He felt overwhelmed. Confused, scared. The idea that an alien leader felt connected to him was impossible. yet everything around him proved it was real. Their quiet moment broke when a deep metallic sound echoed from the hallway. Something slid across the floor outside, something heavy. Ethan stood up. Karin's hand rose instantly, motioning for him to stay back. She moved silently toward the door and opened it a crack. She saw a round metallic object rolling slowly in the corridor. It had sharp markings etched into it, a warrior's weapon, a trap. Before she could react, the object exploded into a net made of glowing energy. It shot toward the room, ready to wrap around Ethan. Karin leaped forward with impossible speed. Her arm caught the net before it reached him. The energy burned her skin, sparks flying around the room. The smell of burning metal filled the air. Ethan shouted her name, terrified. She tore the net apart with pure strength, shredding the glowing threads like paper. Her eyes darkened. She realized someone had tried to trap Ethan. Someone had dared to break her command. Ethan stared at her burned hand, his voice shaking as he asked if she was hurt, but she ignored the pain. Her eyes narrowed at the shadows in the hallway. Someone was watching them, someone waiting for a second chance to attack. Karin stepped in front of Ethan again. The glow of her markings flickered dangerously. She knew this was only the beginning. The warriors would not stop, not while their pride was broken, not while the human lived under her protection, and the council would soon get involved, which meant even greater danger was coming. Ethan's quiet life as a janitor was gone forever. The Alpha had chosen him, and the whole planet would react to that choice, some with anger, some with fear, and some with deadly intent, and Karin was ready to face all of them. The palace did not sleep that night. The failed attack on Ethan spread across every corner of Valtoria like a storm. Warriors sharpened their blades in anger, servants whispered fearfully, and council members met in secret chambers. Their voices trembled as they spoke about the Alpha choosing a human, something no prophecy or history had ever warned them about. They feared chaos, they feared rebellion, they feared the future changing too fast for them to control. By morning, Karin received an order from the council. They demanded she bring Ethan to the Hall of Trials. Karin's eyes darkened when she read the message. She knew what it meant before they even said it. The Hall of Trials was a dangerous place, a place where warriors proved their worth through life and death challenges. No human had ever stepped inside, no human was meant to survive it. Ethan sat quietly on his cot as Karin entered his room. He could see fear in her eyes for the first time. She explained the situation in simple words. She told him the council wanted him tested. They wanted to see if he had value, or if he was a threat, and if he failed the trial, they would remove him from the palace forever. Ethan understood the meaning clearly. Remove did not sound peaceful at all. He felt his chest tighten with fear. He said he didn't want to fight anyone. He said he wasn't a warrior, he was just a janitor. Karin kneeled in front of him, her voice low and steady. She told him he did not need to be a warrior, he only needed to survive. She told him she believed in him. Her instincts had never been wrong before, and she would not let him face the trial alone. The guards escorted them through long stone tunnels. Ethan's footsteps echoed loudly. The air grew colder the deeper they went. The Hall of Trials opened like a giant underground arena, glowing with shifting walls, hidden traps, and cages filled with strange alien beasts. Warriors filled the stands, their armor shining in the dim light. Some wanted Ethan to fail, others watched out of curiosity, wondering how a human would handle a trial meant for champions. The council sat on a high balcony, their expressions cold and unreadable. They announced the rules in strong voices. Ethan must pass 3 trials. If he failed even one, he would be exiled from the planet or worse. Karin's jaw clenched. She hated their tone, she hated their power, but she could not fight the council directly without risking war among the clans. Ethan stepped into the arena with shaking hands. He felt thousands of eyes watching him, judging him, waiting for him to break. He had never felt so alone. Karin stood behind the gate, her eyes locked on him. She could not enter, but her presence gave him courage. He told himself to breathe. He told himself he had survived hard times on Earth. He told himself fear would not help him now. The first trial began. The floor shifted under his feet, turning into a maze of moving platforms, sharp edges, and deep pits glowing with dangerous energy. Ethan did not have strength, but he had something no warrior expected. He had quick thinking. He watched the patterns of the moving platforms. He timed his steps carefully. He used his small size to slide under closing walls and jump over gaps. The crowd gasped when he survived traps warriors usually failed. Karin watched with pride growing in her chest. The second trial opened metal gates around the arena. releasing a beast twice the size of Ethan. Its roar shook the arena walls. Warriors leaned forward eagerly, expecting Ethan to run or die, but Ethan did not fight the beast with fists, he fought it with his mind. He noticed the creature flinched when the arena lights flickered. He waved his small cleaning mirror, reflecting light toward its eyes, confusing it. He used the moving walls from the first trial to trap the creature in a corner. The beast roared and struggled but could not escape. The arena fell silent in disbelief. Even the council looked shocked. Karin's heart felt warm with pride. Her instincts were right. Ethan had strength the warriors could not understand, strength that did not come from muscles or weapons, but from intelligence and courage. The third trial was the hardest. The ground rumbled as the arena transformed again. This time the walls rose into a tall labyrinth filled with smoke and echoing roars. Ethan entered carefully, but soon he heard a sound that froze him. Karin had been forced into the labyrinth by a triggered trap. She was trapped inside with him, injured by falling debris. Her glowing markings flickered weakly. She tried to stand, but her legs shook under her weight. Ethan rushed to her side. He supported her, trying to help her walk. She told him to leave her, to finish the trial alone, but Ethan refused. His voice shook as he said he would not leave her behind, not after everything she did for him. They moved together through the smoke, Ethan guiding Karin using her strength to break obstacles when she could. Every step was slow, painful, dangerous. At the final exit, the floor collapsed beneath them. Ethan pushed Karin forward with all his strength, saving her from falling into the endless pit below. She screamed his name as he slipped. His fingers grabbed the edge at the last second, his arms burning with pain. Karin pulled him up with desperate force. She held him tightly, refusing to let him fall, refusing to lose him. When they stepped out of the labyrinth together, the entire arena went silent. Warriors who once hated Ethan now stared at him with shock and respect. The council could not deny what they had witnessed. The human had survived every trial, not with power, but with courage, mind, and loyalty. Karin stood beside him, her hand gripping his arm protectively. Her eyes dared anyone to challenge her choice now. Ethan had passed the trials, the Alpha's instincts had been proven true, and the future of Valtoria changed forever that day. But above the arena, beyond the clouds, something in the sky watched them quietly. A new danger approached their world, one that would test both Ethan and Karin in ways no trial ever could.